Oh, hey, you're back. Just writing some notes about Japan's masterclass against Germany. Very excited about today's episode. It was a game of halves, with Moriyasu changing his tactics drastically in the second half to improve his team's attacking threat going forward. Ironically, it was two Bundesliga players in Asano and Doan who came off the bench to score the goals to get Japan the victory over the four-time champs. History was made. Japan had recorded their first ever win against the German team in history. And what a way to do it in the World Cup, in an opener where they're looking to progress to the round of 16. I personally think that Hans Flick made a tactical error when making his substitutions, removing Musiala and Thomas Muller off the pitch during a period where they needed them the most as crucial playmakers. And the reason why I'm saying this, and people will probably disagree with me, because Muller really wasn't in the game as much, but when it came to going forward, Germany relied on Musiala and Muller being in those half spaces so they can get those central overloads. They did it so well in the first half. Like I said before though, the game was a game of halves. Germany dominated possession for the majority of the game, and the way they played kind of reminded me of how a high-end team like Real Madrid, Manchester City play in the Champions League when they're drawing close to the final. They completed over 400 passes within the first half, and they looked pretty sharp on the ball as they were going forward. When the second half came around, the game did open up a lot more, with a lot of end-to-end action, and more space was found for Japan when going forward at the same time. So in saying all of this, let's go ahead and look at the tactics that both teams put on display throughout the whole entire match. So the main moment of the first half looked like this. When Germany were in possession of the ball, left back Rahm moved higher up the pitch to provide width on the left side, with Musiala becoming inverted as a secondary playmaker to create a central overload higher up on the pitch. A similar shape Pep Guardiola implements at Manchester City with Cancelo and Grealish. Germany also liked to overload one side of the pitch to exploit opposite wing spaces to create goal-scoring opportunities. Additionally, Germany's central overloads made it difficult for the Japanese to contain the Germans' combination play due to the positional marking they had taken up based on their 4-4-2 setup off the ball. As Japan's 4-4-2 setup defensively made it hard to contain Germany's forward approach within central areas, Japanese right back Sakai often found himself making a decision to put pressure on either Musiala or Rahm. And this would ultimately lead to Germany's goal, where a right side overload led to a quick combination of passes to change out the play to Rahm, who was left free due to Sakai's decision to mark Musiala centrally, allowing space for Rahm to make a run in behind and earn his team a penalty kick. With Germany converting the penalty and playing dominant football across the defensive and middle third in the first half, they still really failed to make any meaningful attempt on goal. Now for Japan in the first half, they were really happy to hold a 4-4-2 low block to soak up a constant Germany onslaught through the middle third. They became more aggressive as Germany progressed further up the pitch and tried to ensure that they were applying some form of pressure to capitalize on technical mistakes made by individual German players. Japan looked very dangerous going forward on the counter-attack once Germany made a mistake, and were disallowed a goal in the 8th minute due to Maida's offside positioning. But this is when it started to get interesting. The second half, and what a change up it was. For me, I think it is incredible when teams can come out and change up their game plan in a drastic manner and go on to win. Saudi Arabia were great against Argentina, but they kept their tactics predominantly for both halves, meaning they kept their 4-4-2 shape and their counter-attacking style during both halves. However, I reckon Moriyasu must have hyped up his men to go for it with courage. As soon as Japan started to push for it with a few opportunities early on in the second half, Germany started to look very fragile at the back with no confidence and looked like they were relying on each other's own individuality to get them across the line. Japan switched up their game plan to a man-to-man marking system. This in turn saw them hold a 5-3-2 defensive shape, allowing for a back three to manage Muller and Musiala more easily, and nullified Rahm's attacking threat. Japan also reveled in a 3-4-3 offensive shape when they were on the ball. As Germany struggled to build up play in their own half, Flick made the call to adjust Rahm's positioning to a more defensive-minded approach, allowing Japan's right winger to stay higher up the pitch. It's important to remember that when any team faces a man-marking system on the ball, they need to possess good combination play to find space in behind, as well as utilizing third-man runs. Running in behind and third-man runs are the hardest to defend, and when in a 1v1 scenario, usually work as a peach for the team in possession. As a result, the German defensive network did not always appear solid. A supposedly easy long ball behind the defense reached Asano, who scored the 2-1 winner.